Hi guys, welcome to this first video in a series of videos that I want to do going through some of the effects that I've rebuilt from the DJI Mavic Mini website in Webflow. So the first, I guess, effect or interaction that I want to go over with you guys today is this fixed hero. As you can see, as we scroll, content reveals itself and then we can continue scrolling through the rest of the website. Really nice little effect, and let's just jump in straight away and start rebuilding it. So the main part of this is that first of all we're just going to need a section and we're going to call it hero. Now, I'm going to try and not go through too much in the specifics of layout, so if you have not done layout before in Webflow, I would definitely check out the university. It has some great tutorials on how to get started there. So what we've just done now is a vertical flex, center, and then a height of 100 VH. What I'm then going to do is just set a background image. I have this great one from the DJI website here. I'm going to hit cover and just center it like so. I'm then going to add this heading here. I'm going to call it hero heading and just give it a big old size of 64 pixels. Change the color to white and we can just call this DJI Mavic Mini. Add some text as well if it's needed. I'm going to add a max width of 600 pixels here just to make sure that it stays in line, and completely ignore class naming conventions for this because speed is of the essence. So now that we've got like a basic layout, and I'm pretty happy with how this looks, we can hit say read more here. That's the basis of that one. So what's next? Well, we need to now make a section with our content that's going to be underneath. I always do this and hit Command E section without clicking the body. There we go. And we're going to call this intro. Now, what we actually need to do is also create a div, and this div is going to wrap all of the sections that fall underneath the hero. We're going to call it section wrapper. And the reasoning behind this is that when we set fixed to this section, we want it to make sure that all the sections underneath the hero are going to also cascade down, and we don't want any of them to jumble into each other as we go on. So what we then need to do is create a combo class for this section, and we're also going to set the fixed positioning to it, and then we're also going to hit full. So now what we have is a section underneath the hero that is fixed and we cannot see at the moment. What we're then going to do is remove the fixed class because I want to be able to see what we're doing whilst we're designing. I'm going to give it a height of 100 VH, and I'm going to give it some top padding of maybe 128 should do, which will split it off from the hero just enough. I'm going to give it another heading. We're going to set the intro section also to flex vertical center. Let's do justify top for the moment, and we're going to say intro 1. Again, we want some paragraph text, so what I'm going to do is steal the paragraph text from up here, give it a combo class of black, and change it to black like so. Lovely. Now what we need to do is just pop this image here that I have from earlier in the top and give it a percentage width of 50%. And there we are, we've got a nice little intro. I'm just going to copy this section overall so that we have another section underneath to continue scrolling through and sort of get a gist for the content and make sure that it scrolls. And now what we're going to do is just make one more section. And it's going to be called section spacer. Let's put it in. It's going to be 100 VH, like so. And I'm going to show you guys why we're doing this. So if we were to give our section wrapper the class of fixed again, and set it to, oh, that was a mistake on my behalf. We're not meant to actually set it to fixed. There we go, I did get it back. Let's set that back to 100 VH. Not everything goes perfect the first time, but here what we need to do is just give this combo class a fixed again, my fault. And as you can see, scrolling along nicely, let's just make sure that the hero has a relative z index of 2 so that the content scrolls, and there we go. Perfect. No overlapping as well now. And you'll notice that if I was to hide the section spacer, we can't scroll. And that's because the page doesn't care about fixed heights when an object is fixed. So what we want to do is instead we can turn the section spacer back on, and as you can see now it's scrolling because there's an actual section with height that we can scroll through. Probably not the most technical explanation, but it should do. Excuse me. And let's move on. So now what we need to do is just go to our intro section wrapper, which has the fixed class. I'm going to remove that for the moment, and also I'm going to hide section spacer. Perfect. Look at that. Back to the start again. What we want to do is go to home now, and we're going to add some jQuery. So what we want to happen is when we reach the end of our hero section, we want the section spacer to turn itself off, and we want our content to not be fixed anymore so that we can scroll through it. As you guys probably saw as I was scrolling, we couldn't get to this second section. I'm going to name this section intro 2 just for necessity. Let's go to body, and here I have a bit of jQuery which I'm going to paste and put in the description for you. And what does this jQuery do? Well, what it's doing is it's measuring how far from the top are we, and if we're 1,000 pixels away from the top, then we are going to hide section spacer and we are going to remove our fixed class from section wrap. However, if we decide that we want to scroll back up and then we need the effect to kick in again, we're going to show our section spacer and we're going to add the class fixed to section wrap again. You'll notice here that we've got some hashtags before our class names, and that just means that we need to have a ID associated with these sections. So with this one here, we're going to call it section-wrap. Perfect. And then what we need to also do is just go to section spacer, and again section spacer like that. Perfect. Let's publish the project and let's see it in action. So hero, scroll, fixed content. We get to the top when we're just at 1,000 pixels. Boom. Fixed is turned off, section spacer is turned off, and now we can scroll our content. If we decide to scroll back up, as you'll see, fixed gets returned on again, and our section spacer is there as well, so we can still scroll the content. Really neat effect. I love this, and I hope it helps you guys in building something cool for your project. So see you soon. Hope it helped, and any questions, just pop them in the comments. Cheers.